Welcome again to Eye on the Tigers. I'm Mason Foltz.
And I'm Sarah Petricola. We're so glad you've joined us. Here's the news we're following. A New York City-bound bus crashed into a wrecked car and a tractor-trailer on Interstate 81 outside of Syracuse early Thursday, injuring more than 24 people. A Pine Hill Trailways bus with 52 passengers on board was traveling south on I-81 around 2:30 a.m. when it slammed into a car that had just crashed into a guardrail. The bus came to a rest in the highway's left lane, just south of Syracuse. Deputies said the bus then hit the rear of a tractor-trailer whose driver had pulled over on the highway's shoulder to offer assistance to the car's driver. 26 of the passengers and the bus driver were injured.
In a blunt post-election warning, House Speaker John Boehner cautioned President Obama on Thursday against taking sweeping action on immigration without congressional approval, saying, quote, "When you play with matches, you take the risk of burning yourself. And he's going to burn himself if he continues to go down this path," end quote. The Ohio Republican said at his first news conference after elections in which Republicans captured control of the Senate that meets in January and emerged with their largest majority in the House in the last 70 years. Obama said he intends to reduce deportations of immigrants who are working yet living illegally in the United States.
The march towards gay marriage across the United States hit a roadblock Thursday when a federal appeals court upheld laws against the practice in 4 states, creating a split in the legal system that increases the chance the Supreme Court will step in to decide the issues once and for all. The cases decided were from Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Breaking ranks with other federal courts around the country, the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 that states have the right to set rules for marriage.
More than 600 U.S. service members told military medical staff that they believe they were exposed to chemical warfare agents in Iraq after the U.S.-led invasion in 2003. The New York Times reported Thursday, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel ordered an internal review of military records after the Times reported in October that U.S. troops encountered degraded chemical weapons from the 1980s that had been hidden or used in makeshift bombs.
90-year-old Arnold Abbott has been feeding the homeless at a public beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. On October 21st, the City of Fort Lauderdale Commission passed an ordinance that banned public food sharing, something that went into effect last week. Under the ordinance, organizations distributing food outdoors would have to provide portable toilets for use by workers and those being fed. On November 2nd, just days after the ordinance took effect, Abbott had handed out his 3rd meal of the day when he was approached by police officers. He was cited for breaking the ordinance and given a notice that he must appear in court.
2 weeks ago, we reported on an incident involving a Utah school teacher whose gun accidentally went off in an elementary school bathroom. Well, she agreed Wednesday to pay a fine and take a firearm safety class as part of a plea deal. Michelle Montgomery has already paid $200 to replace a toilet that exploded when her 9mm handgun discharged in the faculty bathroom on September 11th. She pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of illegal discharge of a gun. It will be dismissed if she pays a $705 court fee and commits no new crimes over the next year.
If you're flying somewhere for Thanksgiving, expect airports to be even more crowded this year. U.S. Airlines expect to carry 24.6 million passengers over the next 12 days surrounding Thanksgiving, up 1.5% from last year. The worst day, November 30th, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, with 2.6 million people flying on U.S. airlines. The forecast comes from Airlines for America, a trade group representing the biggest U.S. carriers. It covers Friday, November 21st through Tuesday, December 2nd. A rise in personal incomes and job growth are the helping boost in demand for travel.
And finally, an 85-foot Norway spruce that belonged to a central Pennsylvania family of Christmas elves will serve as Rockefeller Center's Christmas tree this year. Workers cut down the 13-ton tree, and a crane hoisted it onto a trailer Wednesday morning for the 155-mile journey to Midtown Manhattan. It'll be illuminated for the first time on December 3rd in a ceremony that's been held since 1933.
We hope you're ready for winter because we're about to get into it this weekend. Here's Kennedy with some details.
Cold, raw, and rainy for today with higher elevations seeing some light snow. The snowflakes will make it to the lower elevations tonight, and don't be surprised if we see minor accumulations. We won't get out of the 40s for the weekend, where clouds will win out. There's a chance of rain each day and even some spotty snow showers. It's next week when we see the greatest chance for some measurable snow. While weather models aren't in agreement, there are some indications that conditions are favorable for some lake effect snow. Still too far out to be sure, but we're watching it for you.
Let's bring in Andrea, who has a look at a busy weekend in sports.
Mexico senior cross-country runner Jacob Zidak heads north to Canton for tomorrow's state championship meet. It's the second year in a row Zidak has managed to get to the big race. Fellow senior Hannah Bittner will dive into state qualifiers tomorrow at Janesville DeWitt with the hopes of moving on to the state championships. Bittner has set school records this season. We wish them the best of luck this weekend. Here's a look at the 10-week schedule. Off a bye week, the Bells hope to keep pace when they host the upstate Chiefs at 1 o'clock. The one-win Jets host the surging Steelers at 1 o'clock, while the free-falling Giants head west to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks. Here's a look at the entire 10-week schedule.
Here's Shannon with the calendar.
The calendar is highlighted by tonight's opening of the fall play from Mexico's Drama Club. The curtain for tonight and Saturday's show is at 7. You can also watch Elektra by finding our Ustream channel by going to the district's website and finding the entry. The show will also be archived. Here's director William Coughlin about the show.
Just the intensity that they carry. The show is about 2 hours long. Runs a little less than 2 hours. So to maintain that intensity it's a lot of hard work on stage. And I asked them to do some things that I know that they're not really very comfortable with on stage because it's a different style of acting for them. But they've embraced everything and really have tried very hard to bring it to a new level. So.
The JROTC will celebrate a birthday tonight. Marine Corps' birthday ball will be at Brady Manor in Oswego. Dozens of students will be in early tomorrow for the SAT exam here at Mexico. And of course, students will enjoy a long weekend with the days off on Monday and Tuesday. Of course, Tuesday we will celebrate the service from our veterans. And let's not forget the winter sports season starts on Monday. And speaking of Monday, teachers will have first quarter grades posted. Students may access those grades through their school tool account. That's all for now. Have a great weekend.
And we look to Alyssa Greco for a little history.
On November 7, 1917, Russia's Bolshevik Revolution took place as forces led by Vladimir Lenin overthrew the provisional government. A year earlier, Republican Jeannette Rankin of Montana became the first woman elected to Congress. In 1944, President Franklin D. Roosevelt won an unprecedented fourth term in office, defeating Thomas E. Dewey. In 1973, Congress overrode President Richard M. Nixon's veto of the War Powers Act, essentially taking full control of U.S. involvement in Vietnam. And in 2009, the Democratic-controlled House narrowly passed 220 through 215 landmark health care legislation known as Obamacare to expand coverage to tens of millions who lacked it and placed tough new restrictions on the insurance industry.
That's all for us. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're off until next Thursday. For the staff of Eye on the Tigers News, I'm Sarah Petricola.
And I'm Mason Foltz. Have a great long weekend.